I'll spin the wheel, and whatever question comes up, you can answer it. You can choose to answer it in whatever shape and form, right? And then we take turns, okay? So let's spin the wheel.
Wow.
How do you handle feeling stuck when change is needed? How interesting that this question came up.
How do I handle feeling stuck?
When change is needed.
Right. So like this, I guess this question implies that maybe I'm afraid to change the status quo, and that maybe being stuck is something I know, so I'd rather just be stuck, right? Because it implies that change is needed. Yeah. Let me try and think about my real life situations where I have been stuck, needed. Okay, the funny thing is, I've never really been afraid of change. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be answering this question.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've always known when something needs to be done. Yeah, whether it's a change, whether it's just a slight alteration to the situation or to a relationship. I've never believed in just standing still and thinking and not doing anything about whatever problems I'm in or whatever trouble I'm in. Yeah. I'm quite action oriented. And sometimes that can be a bad thing because I don't contemplate enough. Be very impulsive. So my natural response to a need for change is always action. So actually, ironically now, as I've gone through what I've gone through in life, I try to stop, think, reflect more, chew on things before I make decisions. But I have never had problems making difficult decisions or a decision when something needs to be done.
Okay, nice. Aline, you want to go next?
Oh yes, okay. I had my answer ready for that one.
Choose a different one. Well, let's see if you get the same one.
Oh, we've not done this before, Susanah. Oh, okay.
How interesting.
Okay. How do I keep passion alive when life feels like routine? You've got to remind yourself all the good benefits, that instead of focusing on it's boring, it's mundane, here we go again. Like this within reason, obviously. So okay, so at the moment, like in our situation with the cancer and our conversation last night, and I said, the thing is that you can look at this in a negative way, and so every 6 weeks my partner has to have a CT scan just as a checkup. So I said, okay, well, this is going to happen all the time, so you can either just keep looking at it and go be fearful of it, or you could look at it as just a matter of just a monitoring. It's not what you see but how you see it, but don't let it suck out all the bad, all the good things that you experience along the way. So I look and go, well, hey, I get to do that because there's a lot of people that can't. My partner's had esophageal cancer, so there's a lot of problems, so there's a lot of desires gone. And when he had his first lot of chemotherapy, which he didn't want to do because he had a nose tube fitted and he had to have that done because it was the only way he could get his nutrition before his big esophagectomy surgery that he had last year. And so it's left him with really severe neuropathy, which has got a lot of complications, but also, and he's got like a whole new stomach basically. So there's a lot of trial stuff. So, I was talking about, like the new normal now. And I said, well, instead of focusing on your lack of desire of food, you're actually eating a lot better than what you were, beforehand. And I said, so, the thing is that, this might be the new way, but you got to focus on, wow, I actually get to eat the food. And I said, because I remember it was not that long ago, you had two choices, either vanilla or mocha, when you was 2. So, I think I suppose that's a long answer, but the short of it all is not what you see, but how you see it.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of all the good things rather than, don't get wrapped up in the negative side.
Yeah. And I think Susanah is, just to share with you, Alina really knows how to keep passion alive in her life, because just recently in December, she survived an earthquake.
Oh,
We had an episode on that. I mean, we did a recording of that, and it was like quite harrowing, the experience, and like, so much going on. Yeah.
Australia, was it?
No, I too. Yeah. But, like, I suppose where the passion was just out there to help people, and, just it's the coming together of sharing, and you can't do it by yourself. You've got to have a community, a group around you, to help, and, made great friends, through that.
You have a story there.
That's a book.
Yeah. So, Shamala, your turn.
Okay. All right. Let's spin the wheel. Same question as Susanah. How do I handle feeling stuck when change is needed? I'm very much like Susanah. I'm not afraid of change. So for me to change, I move house so frequently, so I'm really not afraid of change. I move almost like, at least, I just moved in here less than a year ago, and prior to that I moved I think I've moved 13 times or 14 times. So I'm not afraid of change. And that's the other thing, when I feel stuck, the most basic thing I do in my home is move the furniture around. That's how I handle it physically, just to change up the energy.
Yeah.
And usually after changing my furniture around, I'll then be able to, I feel clearer. So I do little things to get out of the feeling unstuck. Because sometimes intellectually I know what I need to do, but emotionally, if it hasn't caught up, then I need to do something about it. So I either go for a walk, I'll change my routine a little bit, and I'll, moving furniture is a thing that I do. And people who live with me, like in the past, they get really annoyed with me, right? Because I'm constantly moving things around. And I think, to her credit, Sasha I think she's gotten quite used to it. I mean, she grew up with this mother who switches furniture around, moving house all the time. So, I think she's adapted well. But people who, I've had relationships with, they go like, what? Again? It can be tough for them, but I feel I need to. It makes me feel like I'm moving energies around. And now that I'm in a much smaller apartment, I still manage to change my furniture around. And when my clients come, they go like, oh, I've never seen, where did this table come from? It's a huge table. Where did it come from? And it's the other room. Right? So I would move things around. It just, it helps a lot. Yeah. Shall we go one more round?
Sounds good. I like this game.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It helps us to I think it sets us thinking, right?
It's actually a nice like if you get together, it's a nice thing to do as well.
Yeah, I think so.
You can see three different, interpretations.
Yeah. Wow, okay. What's a quality you admire but struggle with yourself? I would say patience. I so lack patience because I'm impulsive, I told you. I don't like to wait. I like things to happen immediately, unreasonably so, and I'm short-tempered. I can react negatively when things don't go or people don't say the right things. And I pray for that every day. And I really admire people who are unflappable, There are people who, no matter what people say to them or do or however people react, they are just serene, calm. I want to be like that. I think I'm a very fiery person. So my first reaction is always to say something back. Even if I don't say, okay, I'm getting better now, I don't say it, but I still think it. And it's the same, even if you don't say it out loud, it's still manifesting in your mind, right? So that negativity is still there. So I have to just become patience.
Okay. You know what you said, Susanah, about people who are unflappable, who are calm and who are serene. There are two types. One type is, people who are really calm, really serene. The other type of people are numb. And most people are numb.
Oh.
So they're not in touch with their feelings. And so it looks like they are not reacting. It looks like they're calm, but they're actually numb. They're not feeling it. So if I had to choose, I'd rather be you, fiery, feeling it rather than numb. Because numbing is super unhealthy. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's actually natural to feel, and to want to react. It's natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The patience and the calmness, I think that takes work.
Yes.
That doesn't come naturally. It takes work. Yeah. And that's like, like enlightenment, right? It's like next level self-growth or personal development or
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we go back to Alina? Let's see. Spin the wheel. Ooh. How would you describe your personal reinvention?
Question.
I'm always changing. Yeah, always growing. I've always said that the more I learn, the more I don't know. And I surrender. I think I keep my options open. So I don't have a fixed mindset in a way where, I don't know, there's always that view of you can never know enough, you can never learn enough. I'm a different person now to what I was 20 years ago. I'm still similar, but, Susanah, when you're talking about patience and things like that, that was so hard, like, particularly if in a reactive situation, learning to bite your tongue but sit with it and not react, that's really hard. And I think that's forever learning. And I don't know, you never stop growing. And I think because life and circumstances change around you all the time, and my situation where I am now, I didn't think I would ever be. But I could either look at it as a really unhealthy situation, or I could look at it as for an opportunity of growth, because I know by me sharing my story, I know there's a lot of other people that can relate to that. And I know what it's like to speak to someone who experiences the same frustrations, and they just want to feel normal too, that there's someone else, going through the same thing. So I've always sort of shared my journey, and whether it's through motherhood or through personal training or cancer or whatever it is. And I think it's just to help reach people out there. But communication's a big key as well. So yeah, I think I'm always reinventing.
Yeah.
But I'm still the same person. But yeah, and just knowing. And I remember years ago when I was going through my divorce, and I was reading a lot of spiritual books, and not as in religion, but just as in spiritual growth. And I remember getting really angry, going, well, this is a lot of crap. Other than that, I'm a good person. Why does this happen? I've had nothing but good intent. And I remember my mum saying to me, Alina, the stronger your reaction, the greater the lesson. And I've never forgotten that, because if it didn't matter to you, then you wouldn't react.
Yeah.
So I always gauge by my reaction.
Yeah, you should care. When you react to something, it shows it matters. Like you said to me mattered so much that I have a reaction to it.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom from your mum.
Yeah. I know, she's come through again.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, your turn.
Yes, my turn. Let's see. What's a belief you once had but completely changed? Oh, wow. Every day there is something that I completely changed. What's a belief I once had but completely changed? I think this has a lot to do with my personal development path. I think my idea of what spirituality is, my idea of personal transformation has changed so much, right, in the last 20 years. and then being able to see things much more clearly now. And let me maybe just share one thing, right? A belief. I used to believe that we can positive think our pain away, or positive think our trauma away, or positive think our internal stuff away. I mean, positive mindset is very important, obviously. I mean, it's our perspective about things, right? That we can change with changing the way we think, and we change the way we see things, and all of that. But when it comes to deeper stuff like trauma, pain that we experience as children, things that have been inflicted on us, right, in relationships and all of that, we cannot positive think our way out of it. There is no way. We can positive think our way towards the future, but things that happen in the past, we cannot. We really have to go back into that, or to that space where we had the pain, and to feel through it, because it is through the feeling that we heal. Our default is to not want to feel, right? Because it's so painful. Why we want to relieve that? Like relieve it all over again. But then it's necessary, right? It's necessary in order to, we have to go through it in order to heal. So this belief, maybe I had this belief like more than 20 years ago, right? I would try to, positive think my way out of a pain that I experienced, but I realized that it got me nowhere. It really got me nowhere until I went into, started learning and went into depth psychology. I did a lot of shadow work, Jungian psychology. That really changed my whole perspective. And that also meant that I had to throw away a lot of the old belief systems that I had, the old like teachers that I've had who taught me, especially in the new agey spiritual context, right? There's a lot of like all these toxic positivity going on. I threw that all away, right? And to really honor the personal experiences that I've had, and then to have to go through it, sitting with the pain, and then to heal through that. That completely changed. And that completely changed how I work with my clients as well. Obviously, right? Because whatever I experience, is the belief that I hold very strongly, and that's how I would help my clients as well. And I do see the change, and it's much more satisfying when you see your clients making headways, and so that's a strong belief that I once had. And
I think it's like Shamala, like what, confronting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think, because that's where I was caught, like when I was just explaining, just in the years ago when I was reading all these books and things like that, believing I was doing all the right things, and my mother saying those words. But I think having that positive mindset, thinking that it's shifting that focus. But the reality is it's a confrontation that you need, and that's a big step, trying to recognize that.
In order to move to the future, we have to look at the past, right? Not run away from the past.
Not stay stuck in the past.
Shall we do one more round? Last round.
Yeah.
Let me see. Share screen.
Okay.
Susanah, right? Yeah.
Yes. I used to think that having a successful career, I feel now that was very shallow. To me, success is, waking up in the morning and just feeling good about being who you are, where you are at whatever point in your life you're in, and knowing that you're at peace, and knowing that no matter what happens in that day, you don't know what's going to happen, right? We can't tell the future. You are still going to have that joy and peace in your heart, because you know who you are, and you know your purpose in life, and you know that you can love, and that you want to love, and that you love to. So I've come to strip away all that, the veneer of appearing successful as opposed to interiorly feeling successful. So that it's a shift from an external success to this interior success, where I wake up and my life is so, on paper it's so blah. Wake up, okay, you know, you gotta like feed the cats, shovel shit, pick out pee balls, vacuum the floor. But you know, I look forward to it. Don't know. I mean, am I crazy? No, no. I think I've just found myself, and I'm completely comfortable in myself.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think about my life, you know, and how I choose to live it, what I choose to do with it, my time. And I think that success, not having to care about, you know, and not in a bad way, like, oh, I can do whatever I want, even if I'm hurting. But if knowing that, well, I guess having the liberty, the freedom to do what I ought, which is like the right, good thing that brings me peace and joy.
Yeah. Nice. Love it.
Thank you.
Alina.
I'm getting scared. Oh gosh.
That's like your theme, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk about this.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, to sum that up in a nutshell, feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. You don't know what's on the other side. You can be stuck where you are, and this is kind of like putting all those questions together. You know, you stay stuck where you are, or, you know, what have you got to lose? You know, I've taken plenty leaps of faith, and, you know, what happens if something does go wrong? You don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can go right.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I think if it doesn't excite you, you can choose to stay stuck and stagnant and complain where you are. Admittedly, it's a timing of things, but when the time is right, and you've got that, you know, that I'm scared but I'm excited feeling, you just got to do it. Where it lands you, because, you know, by taking that leap can open 10, you know, golden doors, you know, of opportunity. Yeah. So you don't know what's around the corner. And I've said that with my daughter recently, and, you know, promotion, and which requires her to move interstate, and yeah, it's a little bit longer drive where, you know, to where she's at. But, you know, I said, oh, go over, I'm so happy for you, you know, because you never know, by opening this up, you know, open this door, you never know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't stay safe where you are. You know, do things that excite you.
Yeah.
An opportunity, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was one of my big impacting books, actually, in my early years, and then I've noted it in my own book. And yeah, it's huge, because a lot of people are scared of change, you know, of it not working out, the unknown, you know, all those sorts of things. But how do you know if you don't give it a go?
Exactly. I'm going to read that book again.
Last, and your turn now, Shamala.
Yeah, last one. Susanna and I always get the same questions. This is even fun. How do I define success now versus when I was younger? Susanna knew me when I was young. I mean, I'm never the sort of person who would buy branded bags, branded shoes. And we have a mutual friend called Delphine. And at that time, she was a flight attendant, right? And she would buy, I mean, as a flight attendant, you start earning your own money, you travel all over, she'll buy really expensive bags. And I would often ask her, and I think at that time she told me her bag was like $2,000 or something like that. So every time I see her, I'll say, hey, no one has robbed your bag yet. You know, like jokingly, I would tease her about it. But, you know, I'm never, I think at that point when I was young, in my mind, to me, I never thought about what success was even. For me, it was about doing what I like, doing what I was passionate about, and pursuing that, always as a goal. In my mind, I did not have like success in material things like, you know, like a nice house or whatever. But I think on some level, I did have an idea about what success was in terms of family life. I wanted a happy family, right? A nice, loving husband, kids, and all that. Well, obviously that did not pan out the way I wanted it.
The kids or the husband?
Sorry?
The kids or the husband?
Well, thank God I have a nice kid. So now my idea of success is, almost, again, not really an idea of success. I never really thought about that. For me, it's about pursuing what I enjoy. It's the end goal is always about pursuing my passion and doing what fulfills me. That has always been a thing. But I don't think I've defined it as success in that sense. I've never seen it as success. Yeah, and so that has remained the same, right? Pursuing and in terms of relationship, yeah, I mean, obviously, with that hard lesson, it's now more about what makes me happy, right? In my relationship with myself. I had to go through this grieving period, grieving over what I thought would have been what I wanted, like having a husband to grow old with, having kids around and for them to come back for the holidays, this sort of a thing, right? In your mind, you just envision that as, perfect. So the grief process was really important, right? Grieving for something that I know that will never happen or can never have, right? But, I have a slice of that, very different from what I envisioned. Obviously, Sasha, living overseas and then coming back as and when. But that to me is like, okay, that's a good, precious time together when we have that. And most importantly, really, my relationship with myself, that is number one. If I'm not happy, I'm not going to be happy with anyone or anywhere, right? For that matter. Yeah. So that's my definition of success.
Right.
Yeah.
I think everyone's interpretation of success is so different.
Yeah.
Some are material, some are emotional, and I think it depends on where you are in life. And obviously, it changes as we get older, as we get wiser.
Yeah, for sure. That was really fun.
I can't believe that the two of you got the two questions the same.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So funny.
Yeah.
And two different answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yet the same question.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
It's really, really good.